It's me again. I know I keep saying that it's been a while, so I don't want that to become a running thing, but I really have not filmed in a while. I will include a timestamp down below where you can just skip to the news segment part of this video. However, I feel like I should share why I have been kind of sparing on videos lately. I have some really bad health issues that are going on right now. Tomorrow I'm actually going to get a biopsy. I have a bone tumor in my left leg, or my left knee. It's been a very scary process. It's very hard for me to deal with, both physically and mentally. I have a lot of issue getting up because I'm in a lot of pain all the time. I'm not asking for sympathy, but just any sort of understanding as to why I haven't been putting things up. And in the long run, these videos I love to share them with you guys, but in reality, they're something for me to do that helps get my mind off things. So thank you guys for understanding, and we're going to go ahead and jump in because I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Today, fortunately, I'm going to have to cut the video. I think it's been a month since I've done comic news, and I have so much stuff that I've been compiling to talk about that I have a lot of Marvel and I have a lot of DC, so I'm just going to have to split it. Right now I'm going to film the Marvel section, hopefully get it up, and hopefully get the DC section up just as quickly. Just as a disclaimer, I don't really watch any Marvel TV shows that are on normal cable networks, nor do I watch any DC shows that are on normal cable networks. I also do not watch the new DC shows Titans or Doom Patrol because I do not have the DC streaming service. It is not something that I have access to or that I personally will want to spend my money on. So we're going ahead and get started about Marvel right now. The initial first topic of today was going to be, because I was going to film this video about 3 weeks ago, it was going to be a Punisher review. Let's have a moment of silence. So the main topic of today is going to be the complete cancellation of all of the Marvel Netflix TV shows. We saw this coming. Punisher and Jessica Jones were only a matter of time that were getting canceled. Punisher seems to stand alone from a lot of stuff, but they still have combined characters, so it's just inevitable. The head of Marvel TV says they want to continue making these shows. They unfortunately, I think, have a block on characters they can't use for about 2 years after the show has premiered on Netflix. So what that means is they can use Luke Cage and Iron Fist a lot quicker, but in reality what's going to happen, I think, is that they'll use Daredevil. I'm not sure if they'll possibly Luke Cage, but I'm not sure if they'll introduce the rest of the characters, but you never know. Disney Marvel took a chance on a lot of smaller characters, and I think it still works out well for them because they're established enough. When they decided they were going to make a cinematic universe, Iron Man was a B-list character because Marvel had sold off all their A-list characters, meaning the Xmen, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man, because the company was going bankrupt in the 90s. So they were able to turn that around, and Iron Man is now the most profitable of the Marvel characters. I would think Spider-Man's still ahead, but in terms of today, he is one of the most profitable. So I think Marvel can really turn around any smaller character, and I don't think we've seen the last of these characters. It's just sad that a lot of these shows that have been ending on high notes are not coming back for additional seasons. To briefly talk about Punisher Season 2, which you can still watch. Obviously, they're not taking them off right now, and I don't think they will for a while. But Punisher Season 2, I preferred Season 1, but I did like what I saw from Season 2. I didn't think there were any glaring issues. It definitely wasn't one of the worst of the seasons, I think. I enjoyed a lot of the characters. The only thing I found is towards the end, they introduced Karen for one episode, and I thought that was just a little random. But, whatever, they decided her contract would be for the show. My only complaint is I wish they would have shortened it. I wish they would have had less episodes. I think there were 13. They should have gone the 10 route, or I think Defenders had even less than 10, but Defenders is a whole different story. It definitely wasn't a letdown additional season. I found Jessica Jones season 2 was such a huge letdown, and even that being said, it wasn't the worst of the Marvel Netflix seasons, but it was because season 1 was so great, season 2 just fell very far flat. The two villains of Punisher, I thought, were well-rounded. Jigsaw, is Ben Barnes played Jigsaw. I thought it was very interesting to see the arc of his character. He probably was the highlight of the show for me. A lot of the Marvel Netflix shows really can rely on good villain. Daredevil had Bullseye this season, but obviously Wilson Fisk was the Kingpin was the best villain, probably in Marvel Netflix. Also, Killgrave is amazing. But I found the overall motivation of the organization, so the whole thing is a very far-right Christian group is trying to basically kill and blackmail people because their son is gay. That's really, when you break it down, that's what it is. And I get there's religious fundamentalists, but it was watching this, I was like, it's a little ridiculous, an idea, at least to me. But I liked the connection that Frank had with the young girl, who's kind of the daughter figure, and unfortunately we're not going to see that continue and see where that really ends up. But, I guess it is what it is. Hopefully we'll see Punisher in more iterations. He's a relatively popular character amongst Marvel fans, so, and we've had movies of Punisher before, so maybe we'll see it again. There's been a few other Spider-Man Far From Home trailers and first looks into. We haven't seen them come back from Europe, which is in the movie. They filmed in New York City on about one of the last couple days of shooting. I actually walked past the filming crew for it, not realizing what was going on. So they filmed over by Penn Station in Madison Square Garden, which you can see videos and pictures of that with Peter and MJ together. In terms, I think I already touched on it, that I believe, most people believe that Mysterio is just putting on a good boy act, and that the villain characters you see in the trailers are the Elementals, which are just, Marvel's form of just elements. It is really profusely snowing. I don't think there's much to touch on in here. Spider-Man Far From Home will kind of get more attention as we even get closer to Endgame and Endgame wraps up. We have a lot. We're getting into deep Marvel territory right now, and I'm very, very excited. Captain Marvel comes out in 2 weeks. We've gotten so much footage of Captain Marvel. There have been so many clips. Their Twitter puts out new information every day. A lot of the fanboys are going crazy because Brie Larson is trying to reach a broader demographic, and they're not happy about that. I don't want to get too ranty in this, but it is very important, and it's very amazing for me to see a female-led superhero film in Marvel. There has been female-led superhero films, I get it, but it's becoming the same issue that Black Panther was. Everyone was going, well, Black Panther wasn't the first black superhero, but in the MCU, for die-hard MCU fans, this is incredible to see. But we are 2 weeks away, ladies. If I post this on Wednesday, it's 2 weeks in a day. I already have my ticket. I'm very excited. I requested off from work the day after because I cannot go to a movie at 10:15 and then do that. We are getting into spoiler territory though, so please make sure you are careful if you don't want any spoilers online. I know the day it comes out, I probably will avoid my timeline, but critics have already gone to early screenings of the film, and they're raving about it, and they're saying that it's very good. Also, the press tour started maybe a week ago in Indonesia, so if I have any information to fill down there, that'll be good. Brie Larson also said that what she's most excited to do is to introduce Kamala Khan in the sequel to Captain Marvel, which is very exciting. I'm not sure, we can kind of figure out what sequels are gonna hold when we see the movie. But overall, I'm very excited. I think it looks like it's gonna be a good one. Black Panther won the SAG Award a couple weeks ago for Best Cast. It has returned to cinemas. I believe you can still see it for free. It is currently Black History Month. You can see it for free if you go on their Twitter page. There are links. If I can find the links, I will link it down below, where you can go see the film free to help support Black History Month so that people can see this film. Also, it is available on Netflix, so if you have a Netflix subscription, you can go see it there, but obviously seeing a movie in the theaters is so incredible, so I would say go see it if you can and if you have the time. It's also just back in theaters because it is nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, which is this Sunday, so we'll see what happens. I did a video about the Oscars. If you're interested, I will link it up in the cards at the section of the video. And yeah, that's what I have to say to that. Good luck to Black Panther at the Oscars, and we'll see what happens. Let's segue into Avengers Endgame. We've gotten a new TV spot at the Super Bowl, which was a couple weeks ago. It was only 30 seconds long. There's a lot of stuff to break down. I didn't do a video on it because, again, I'm discuss kind of my video schedule, so I will put bits of it in here in the video as I talk about it. From the main thing I want to discuss though is there's a couple things. One, I just recently heard a theory that not all of the Outriders had been fought off, that some of them are still roaming the earth, and that's going to create kind of an apocalyptic vibe for the film, and kind of why maybe people haven't, you know, if you look at the trailer shots, there's a bunch of abandoned cars and boats, and Manhattan looks desolate. I don't think they're going this route. They're wrapping everything up, and I think it would distract heavily from the film. I like the idea of it, but also the Outriders are in Wakanda, so they would be, I could see them maybe in the Europe, like going through Africa and Europe, but in places like in Manhattan, they're not connected. So I'm not sure if the Outriders can swim or really what anything about them in that aspect, but I guess, you know, we'll see what happens in that aspect. I just don't think we'll go that route. We should discuss, it appears that the Hulk is now Professor Hulk, which in the comics is a complete blend of both the Hulk and Bruce Banner. He is the Hulk in Hulk form, strong, but also has the brain of Bruce Banner. I'm not sure how he gets to this route, maybe through experimentation and stuff like that, since he seems to have, they seem to have an interesting arc that they're going off of. Also, if you see promo photos, the Hulk looks more like Bruce Banner than he has before. I would really enjoy if they gave him the little glasses that Professor Hulk has in the comics, because it's just kind of cute, but I don't know if they're gonna go that route. Bruce Banner hasn't worn his glasses in a very long time, so I'm not sure if they will. Also, there's a lot of interesting questions about where Rocket and Thor are in the segments of their videos. It appears to a lot of people that they're in Wakanda, but I do not think this is the case. I think that they are possibly on Zenhobri, which is Gamora's home planet, which appears to be where Thanos went at the end of Infinity War. I think this is a possibility. How did they get there? I don't know, but yeah, I'm interested to see how this all progresses. I'm also interested to see the Guardians come back because I miss them. And if they go kind of the comic route with Gamora and the Soul Stone and assisting, I'm not sure. Also, in terms of Avengers Endgame news, there was merchandise leaks, which can spoil lots of stuff. In this merchandise leak, it showed Valkyrie in part of the Titan series on for Avengers Endgame. So Titan series meaning possibly that if they go back, or even if it's not back in time, if they adjust things and possibly Valkyrie is fighting Thanos on Titan, that would be very interesting to see. But it's good news for us because it looks like Valkyrie will definitely be in Avengers Endgame. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, Taika Waititi recently came out and said he unfortunately will not be directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The film is still slated to happen. Kevin Feige said it will happen. Chris Pratt recently said it will happen, but it will happen without James Gunn. So the other directors need to stop requesting him. James Gunn has already moved on to DC, so it's not happening. I would like them to announce a director sometime soon, and so they can get everything rolling. I know there's a lot of legality issues going on because James Gunn wrote the script for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and they will probably use his script. They just have to give him a buyout in order to use it, because he will have to be credited regardless of everything. Still in Disney Marvel news, the Loki series has been getting a lot of new information lately, and it appears after what was heard we were getting a younger Loki. It is going to be Tom Hiddleston, who is starring in the Disney streaming service Loki series, which will be very good. It's going to be, well, I don't know if the show's going to be good, but it's great that Tom Hiddleston's coming back. They're going to, it should be premiering at the end of the year, but I haven't heard any information about filming. The plot of this show is that it's going to be Loki traveling through history and influencing little events. So it'll be very interesting to see, and especially how they tie that into the MCU lore and things that have happened over time. Last bit of Marvel news will be the Marvel Fox news. The deal hasn't been fully completed yet. It's not been announced. It's supposed to be completed sometime this summer. I assume after or with the release of Dark Phoenix, which is already well over their budget. I believe their budget had something like a whopping $200 million. They've gone well over that. They've started reshoots, or I think they just did some reshoots. Fox seems to do this quite often, where they do a lot of reshoots after test screenings do very poorly. So that is what happened. That's why they immediately pushed their release date back. They did some test screenings for Dark Phoenix. They were not good. They decided they were going to reshoot a lot of it, and they are now set for a June release date, I believe. I don't know how good any of this movie is going to be, and I do not believe or know if they're going to release New Mutants. That movie had a trailer maybe a year and a half ago and then fell off the face of the earth because with this Disney Fox deal, they don't know what they're doing. So it's kind of a low note, but I don't know. I'm excited to see them kind of, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, acquiesce this and hopefully get it back on the right track. And I'll have more news to talk about, I'm sure, coming like tomorrow. So I will try to get these videos up sooner. Also, if I can get these up sooner, I will keep Marvel and DC together so we can keep all the comic book nerd stuff together. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!